Okay. So we are live now.
Okay.
So welcome, Dr. Rima Dey. So let me first introduce our today's guest speaker. Dr. Rima Dey is basically a confident coach and an ex-scientist by profession. And she's have garnered the rich experience and answers of working in truly dynamic and diverse demography as well geography. Her professional experience includes working as a scientist at General Electric Global Research and scientist fellow at CSIR National Metallurgical Laboratory. During her journey as a research professional, she was fortunate enough to discover her core strength, which were communication and people skills. So today, we are with us a personality who can, in reality, guide our students the journey from campus to corporate, various insights on this. So now I request, before moving forward, let me introduce who are with us. So we are having with us Professor Pankaj Mishra. He is head of the center, Naresh Basi Center for Tinkering and Innovation and Associate in Innovations. We are with us Professor Niranjan Kumar, who is the promotion coordinator of NVCTI, with Professor Tara Chand. He is also the coordinator of NVCTI and other faculty colleagues with the students as a participants for today's event. Now, I would like to request Avinav to proceed with the proceedings. Avinav, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, for the 5th edition of Innovative, just a second. Am I visible?
Yes, Abhinav, you are visible.
Okay.
Yes, you are visible. Avinav, please go ahead.
Okay. So, for the 5th edition of our Innovative Leader Talk series of Naresh Vashisht Center for Tinkering and Innovation, we were decided that it is important for the current generation of students to understand how personality needs to be developed along with other skills, the other technical skills that are important for themselves to be a part of the corporate world, because most importantly, people are running after their technical skills and they think that is important. But until and unless you understand how easily and how confidently you can interact with people, how easily you can express your ideas or be who you are, even in adverse climate, you cannot progress ahead or make the most out of any opportunity. And for this, we have with us Dr. Rima Dey, who is a confident personality coach. She's also an ex-scientist. And through this talk series, we hope to get some insights on how students can bridge this gap from being a student where you are mostly surrounded with friends, people who are around in and around us, to people who are in the corporate field, who have known it more and more, who have known more than you. So how can you make this change from being a college student who is confident enough in his own surrounding to a confident person who can make the most out of it in the corporate world? So before opening the house to our guest speaker, I would like Professor Pankaj Mishra to address the gathering with a few insights of his own. Sir?
Yeah, thank you very much, Abhinav. Yeah, I first of all, I would like to welcome Dr. Rima, and I hope this is one of the most important topic of direct interest of the student, because nowadays in the present scenario of Corona pandemic, there is a huge uncertainty in the job market, and up to a level of panic in certain sectors. So and not being in touch with the institute for a long period of time is a big drawback which our students are facing nowadays. And so I hope that today's talk will give some guidance, which will be helpful for them to cope up with the situation and to fight the future. So thank you, Abhinav, and I again welcome Dr. Rima. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Pankaj. Am I audible? Can just someone confirm?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. You're
Yes, you
audible.
are.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for the welcome, Abhinav and Professor Pankaj Mishra. I'm really delighted to share so much today, and I hope students really find value in whatever I'm about to share today. So can I start sharing my screen?
Right. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Is my screen visible?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes, visible.
Okay. So before we even start, I always start with this quote of Stephen Hawking, because many a times we think we know everything, but then that's just an illusion, you know. We don't go through it because we have that know-it-all attitude. "Arey, मेरे को तो ये पता है." So that's why I want you all to be open for whatever we will be going through in the next couple of minutes. Also, that's briefly about me, already spoken about me, so I wouldn't speak about myself. And while we are conducting these sessions, there are two important rules, and it's very important that the students hear the two important rules. One, you have to be extremely interactive, and two, this is a completely non-judgmental space, right? So even if you have the silliest question in your mind, please shoot it. Please ask without any doubts. Is that clear to all the students? Yes? No? Yes? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for confirming. Thank you. So what is this mood of the students right now? How is it for today's session? Already feeling sleepy? Happy? Not very happy? What is the mood?
We are excited, ma'am.
You are? Really?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm happy. I'm happy you're excited. Every student can come in and share their response, okay? Either through audio or through chat, whatever, okay? So I hope I hold on to your excitement. I help you to make that excitement more in the session that's coming up. So how do we go about the session? We start with the what and whys of what is campus to corporate and why is it such an important transition in your life? How do you make that transition more effective? And then we'll do some activities to understand actually who we are, followed by question and answers, whatever question and answers you have. In between also, you are allowed to ask questions. So whenever you want to pause me, please feel free to do so. Is that right? Is that clear to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So why should campus hire freshers at all? Can anyone answer me that? Why should companies hire freshers at all? You know, they already have experienced people who are working on projects. So why should they hire you at all? Anyone? As I said, this is a non-judgmental space. So whatever comes to your mind, please.
Freshers come with a new, fresh perspective to problem solving.
Absolutely. Anyone wants to add to that?
They are the young minds who have a new approach of approaching to different types of world-life situations.
Right. Vishal, thank you for that input. Anybody else? Okay. So there are many reasons, plenty of reasons. The good news is there's plenty of reasons for companies to hire freshers. The first and foremost is the freshers are like clean canvas, you know. The way the company will train them, they will get trained that way because they are hungry for success. They want to accomplish themselves. They are just into the market and they want to prove to themselves and their peers, their parents that I'm good. I am worthy of what I have studied, right? And that way, all of you are very quickly learning. That hunger makes you to learn very quickly. And at the same time, this generation being extremely tech savvy, you don't have a difficulty when you have to transition from a traditional method to a very technology savvy method, right? You quickly do that. So there are many reasons. And you also come inexpensive compared to the higher people, right? Because you are hungry, so you want to do it anyways. And the money that is paid being takes care of you at your level, right? And you wouldn't leave the company so easily just when you entered the company. Otherwise, the attrition is really high at the higher levels, right? And also, once you have a good experience with the company at the entry level, you will share your experience. You'll go out and tell your friends, see, this is what is happening in my company. So you would share that experience, and the people come to know about the company more than anybody else. Do you all agree on those factors? You can
Yes,
type
ma'am.
yes, no in the chat box. Yes. Okay. Okay. I want to see others also interacting apart from Abhinav. Okay. You can also keep your cameras on if you want to. Right. So there's a good news that companies have to hire freshers because they bring in a fresh perspective with them, and they are easy to train. They are actually asset for the company because on the freshers that they are recruiting today, some of them might go on to become someone who is joining the top management, right? So it's a absolutely well thought out investment for the company, which pays off. So what is campus to corporate? Is it a transition? Yes, no? Is it a transition? You're not sure?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, some of you may not be sure. So what happens in a transition? If we come back to some thermodynamics, what happens in a transition? When the state is changing from solid to liquid or liquid to gas, what happens? The primary thing, what happens? The external variables change, right? Maybe temperature or pressure, right? That's what happens. All of you agree? You can quickly chat,
Yes, ma'am.
type on the chat box. Okay, thank you, thank you. I may not be able to see all of you right now because I'm in the presentation mode. So you can quickly type in the chat box, okay? In case if I'm not able to see you. So then it's a transition, right? Your external factors are changing. Why is it a transition? Because your ecosystem is becoming more dynamic. Right now, when you were in college, you had to interact with your peers, your seniors, at the max, maybe your professors. But as you're transitioning to a corporate environment, you have to interact with people from different parts of the countries, maybe different parts of the world, the top management, and people from different diverse backgrounds, right? So what happens if I speak about it metaphorically? You have learned to swim in an aquarium, which is your campus, and you have to take that understanding of swimming in an aquarium and transfer that knowledge to swimming in a sea, right? So is the transition difficult, dynamic? Yes, no, you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
You agree to all of what I say? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
No one is revolting to anything? That's good for me then. Okay, okay. So moving forward. So essentially, what is the time frame of this transition? So this starts somewhere at the third year of campus and it continues till the second year at corporate, right? Transitions never happen drastically. There's a time frame always. And why there is this time frame, let's break it down in the second slide. But before that, for some of you, this transition might happen earlier than second year of corporate. For some of you, it might prolong than second year of corporate. It all depends on what kind of person you are, okay? How easily you adapt, okay? And there's nothing wrong or right about it, and we'll understand why. So what happens in the third year of campus to the corporate second year? There are different steps. If you start with the campus third year, the first thing is you have to start preparing your resume, right? For the interview. You agree? Yes? No?
Right, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
So you have to start preparing your resume now. Now resume banana to ek headache ho jata hai because you have to make a 2-page resume. some of you may be very confused कि 2 page क्या डालूं मैं, right? मेरा तो academic के बाद क्या डालना है मेरे को नहीं पता. What will make the recruiters interested in my resume, right? And किसी को इतना लिख डाला कि 3 pages हो गया. You don't know how to shorten it, right? Happens with all of you? Yes, no?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so resume writing in itself is a big task. Okay, done. One done. Yeah, someone was saying something? No? Okay, I'll move ahead. So coming back to interview now. After resume, you have put up your resume for the interview and say you clear the interview. Very good. Your confidence increases by leaps and bounds. And if you don't clear the interview, then it drops back, right? मेरे को तो पता ही था ऐसा ही होने वाला है. I will not be able to clear this interview. इसके बाद क्या होगा? What will happen? इसके बाद कंपनी आएगी क्या? मैं क्लियर कर पाऊंगा क्या? या पाऊंगी क्या? Do these self doubts and fear creep in? It happens, right? It
Yes, ma'am.
happens.
Definitely.
Yeah. So say now your interview is done. All of your interview is done. You have all been placed. Now you're going to join the job, right? So now, once you join the job, 3 to 4 months down the line, when you know the nitty-gritties of the company, you come to know the people around the company, you come to know what and all is expected of you that you need to do, then you have to set up your own accommodation, because most probably when you're going and joining your own job, you might not be placed at your native, right? The chances for it is highly likely, right? So once you join job, you also have to make new relationships, new friends. So there's a whole lot of things that comes in all together. So there can be an expectation gap created between what you wanted, what you thought it would be, and what it turned out to be. The expectation gap can sometimes be above your expectation line. It may be much better than what you expected, or it can be below your expectation line. Most of the times, the bad news is it's below your expectation line. If it goes above your expectation line, then nothing better for you. You all agree on that? Is that sinking in?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So there's an expectation gap created because of various reasons. Also, because you'll start earning, you need to think about your finances as well. So there are so many factors. You have to arrange your own accommodation and fooding. You have to arrange your own finances. You have to give your updates to your immediate bosses as to how is the progress going in your work. And so all of a sudden your accountability goes up. Never before in your life were you so accountable, right? So these are all factors that can make you to not perform up to the mark that is expected by the company. Maybe you were an absolutely phenomenal performer at college, but then at corporate, you're not able to perform for some reason. And again, maybe you were not so good performer at college, but at corporate, you're performing phenomenally. It can happen. You all agree?
100%, ma'am.
Yeah. So the thing is, there is a performance gap that can be created or may not be created. If it's not created, that's very good. If it's created, even then it's good. And we will discuss why. And all of this may lead to a confusion, by the performance gap happens like by the end of 1 year when there is an assessment going on. Now, by the end of first year or by the end of 1.5 years in your corporate, you might be confused if you're not performing up to the expectation. You might be confused. Is it the place I should be? Meko kahin aur jana chahiye. There will be a total confusion. You will be having so much self-doubt and self-worth issues. And by the end of second year, you may decide that, no, I want to stay in corporate. In corporate, you may again decide what is the part you want to contribute to. Is it marketing? Is it technical? Is it sales? Is it business development? There are many verticals in corporate. Now, You might also think that you want to go for higher studies. You want to go for academia and then rejoin corporate. Or you might also decide that you want to go only into academia. All of these decisions may happen by the end of second year. So the journey isn't linear. This third year campus to second year corporate, it's not a linear journey, and there will be many pitfalls and hurdles. So how do you come to the right kind of decision? Is corporate right for you? Is academia right for you? How do you come to that decision? For that, you need to know the factors that contribute while you're going through this journey. And how can you make this journey more learning oriented, rather than focusing on what is the outcome that I'm getting? Is it salary, or is it I'm performing better or I'm not performing? You should also focus on what I am becoming in the process, right? On that note, why this happens? Why ये जो journey से हम जाते हैं, ऐसा क्यों होता है? So see, when you're starting your corporate job, that is you written in white, okay? You're entering into a zone where you're incompetent and unconscious. That means you're not even aware that you're incompetent, okay? Am I audible? Can someone quickly confirm?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
okay. So, and in a minute, I'll give you an example to make you understand what I mean by this is you're incompetent and unconscious, and you move into a zone of incompetent and conscious. What does that mean? 3-4 months down the line, as you enter the company, you get to know that these are the things I don't know, and you are still incompetent in them. And you get conscious about it. Arey, meko ye to nahi aata hai. You get very conscious about it. And progressively, 1 year down the line, you move into a competent conscious zone where you know tumko ye sab nahi aata tha, but now you know all of it and you're very competent also about it. But gradually from that zone, by the second year or third year, depending on the profile you're working in, you move into a competent unconscious zone wherein you become so competent that you're not even aware of it because it happens automatically to you. Now, if I metaphorically speak about it, it's I can give the example of driving. So how many of you over here drive two-wheelers or four-wheelers? Most of you, I assume. Anyone can respond, or none of you drive?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good.
Drive, ma'am. Drive.
Okay. So the first day that you started driving, you were very incompetent, right? And you were totally unaware कि driving का मेरे को क्या नहीं पता. That also I don't know, right? As you start driving, you get to know that this is the part of driving I don't know. So you move into the incompetent and conscious zone. But maybe 3 months down the line, as you keep practicing, you make progress and you become competent. You start driving by your own self, but you're still conscious while driving. आपका attention still goes. अगर मैंने brake ठीक से लगाया कि नहीं. If you're driving a four-wheeler, your attention still goes while changing the gear. You're looking at it कि gear ठीक से change हुआ कि नहीं, right? You're competent, but you're conscious about it, right? But again, 4-5 months down the lane, you are driving very easily. You don't care, like you don't have to think about putting on the brakes in the two-wheeler or in the four-wheeler, right? You're changing the gears very easily. You don't have to look while changing the gears, right? You all can relate to that? All of you can
Yes,
relate
ma'am.
to that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
yeah, so the corporate journey is something like this, you're going from an incompetent unconscious zone to the competent unconscious zone, right? And while you're going through this journey, there may be many at times you will go, there may be many incidences where you will go through self-doubt, fear, self-worth, मेरे से नहीं होगा, मेरे को यहाँ आना ही नहीं चाहिए था, right? Happens?
Yes.
Happens?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Definitely, ma'am. Yeah.
right? So the thing is, this is a thing that happens everywhere. It happens while you came from your home to your college also, right? Remember the first year of college, and now I assume most of you are in the third or fourth year of college, right? So just remember and think about it. Look back and see. Are you the same person when you were in the first year of college compared to today? Are you? Yes, no?
Not at all.
No, ma'am.
Not at all,
No,
right?
ma'am. No.
Right. So you have undergone changes and it was never easy, right? Was it easy?
No,
Was
ma'am.
it easy?
No,
No.
ma'am.
Yeah. So it wasn't easy, but it was good. I think whatever you have become now, you are much more competent than you were 1 year, like when you had entered college, right? Agree on that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the same thing happens in corporate, but the number of parameters increases so much more by so many folds that the moments of this self-doubt and fear can easily creep in, right? So how do we navigate those moments and still stick to what we are doing? So this journey from second year, third year of campus to second year of corporate, instead of making it, more painful, it will be, any transformation, whenever there's a transformation in your life, whenever there's a transition in your life, there will be some pain associated with it. But instead of focusing on that, you want to focus on the learning. What learning have you had through these 3 years of your journey? Does it help you to understand yourself better? Those are the things that you have to focus on while in these 3 years of journey. And so in these 3 years, be in an exploration mode. And we'll discuss it in a couple of minutes. So what are the factors that affect this journey? Can I request somebody to be on mute? I'm not sure whose mic is, there is background noise. Thank you. Thank you so much for muting. So what are the factors that affect the journey? There are many factors actually that affect the journey, but it's from my personal experience that I have narrowed down on these four, because these are like the pillars, these four will be required every time, everywhere, or anywhere you go. It's your emotional intelligence, it's your communication, it's your time management, and it's your aptitude. And I'll walk you through them briefly and I'll touch upon them quickly. I'll not be diving deep, but I'll touch upon them quickly, how it impacts you. All of you with me till now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is it making sense to you all? Are you connecting to it?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. So before even I start, I have a question here for you. Actually, a here for you. You have to name them. Okay? Am I audible? Can someone quickly confirm?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Okay. Okay. So you have to name them, right? Now, I will also tell you what are the name options. I'll give you the name options. But before I do so, I'll also tell you, once I tell you the names, whatever comes to your mind in the first 2 seconds is the right answer for the shape. Got it? Is that clear?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, I'll repeat again. जो भी मैं आपको अभी नाम बताने वाली हूँ, 2 नाम का ऑप्शन देने वाली हूँ. जो भी आपको लगता है कि इसका सही नाम है, and it occurs within, आपके दिमाग में वो 2 सेकंड में हिट करता है, that is the right answer. Got it? Okay. So I give the name options of Kiki and Buba. Let me just type it on chat. It's Kiki and Buba. सबको मिल गया नाम का options?
हाँ, ma'am.
Right? Kiki and Buba. Now what do you think? कि ये स्टार वाले ऑब्जेक्ट का नाम क्या होगा? फर्स्ट 2 सेकंड्स में कौन सा नाम अप्रोप्रिएट लगा?
Kiki.
All of you Kiki,
Kiki,
right?
ma'am.
All of you have
Yes.
said Kiki, right? All of you agree it's Kiki?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let me tell you over here, this is a famous experiment done by some psychologists, and 98% of people answered the first one as Kiki and the second one as Bubba. Can anyone tell me why? Is anything coming to your mind? Can anyone tell me that why?
The name Kiki gives an image of something that is pointy.
Exactly, exactly. Thank you, Niharika. So, our brain has this ability to connect abstract things. So, Kiki, the K is very intense, and this has a pointed, intense ends, right? So, the key and the intensity of this shape goes well together. And that's the reason by default we name it as Kiki. And the other one being so, blunt and everything, बुब्बा लगता है इसका नाम तो बुब्बा ही है, right? All of you agree? So what this experiment says is cognitively, we are all wired the same way. We are all wired the same way. If you run this experiment anywhere in the world, 98% of the people will name the star object as Kiki. Okay? So we are all wired the same way cognitively. But how do we use our brain to our advantage is what differentiates all of us. Okay? All of you with me? Yes? No?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So now, when we talk about the fact that we are all wired the same way, yet we use our brains in different ways, the most important factor that comes up is your emotional intelligence. Have you ever heard of this term called emotional intelligence? Any
Yes,
one of
ma'am.
you?
Yes, ma'am.
What does it mean to you? What does it mean to you?
To control our emotions before they start controlling us.
Okay. Who is that? I can't see the person speaking.
Ma'am, it's me, Abhinav.
Abhinav. Okay. Thank you, Abhinav. Anyone else? Anyone else? This is a non-judgmental space, as I said earlier. So whatever comes to your mind, please feel free to share.
Knowledge on the basis of our emotion.
Yeah, Manoj, can you come again? I couldn't hear you.
Knowledge basis of our emotions.
Okay. Okay.
Which we learn from our emotion.
Okay.
Ma'am, if we are applying our intelligence to approach something emotionally and not by using our intellect.
Okay. Anyone else wants to add? I'll take this last one and then we'll move forward.
Ma'am, for me, it is assessing and acknowledging my emotions, identifying what I'm feeling right now.
Okay. 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 Now, emotional intelligence is a very, very vast subject and why it matters. Let me tell you. As you're going through this transition, as I said, there was this expectation gap and performance gap. You remember? You all remember? I discussed expectation gap and performance gap.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So what happens when there's an expectation gap and performance gap? There's self-doubt coming. There's fear coming, right? There's self-worth issues coming, right? So how do you deal with those issues? How do you deal with those issues? There are emotional intelligence tools that are called self-awareness, self-regulation, and self-compassion. What happens to you in these moments? What do you tell yourself? Do you tell yourself, tere se nahi hoga? Tu chali ja yahan se, tu chala ja yahan se. That is what you tell yourself? Or do you tell yourself that, no, I'm going to get better at this. आज शायद रिजल्ट नहीं आया बट मैं करके देखता हूँ शायद कल बेटर हो जाए. Right? You all agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
So what happens when this is just one part of the equation? I'm just saying from a student's perspective or a fresher's perspective who is entering the corporate. But emotional intelligence also defines your social skills. While you're entering a workforce, there are many people that you have to interact with, right? So if you're not very good at social skills, you might feel isolated, and that might again take a toll on your understanding of yourself, right? Not all of us are good at social skills, but we need to understand why aren't we good, or do we need to at all be good at social skills when we are in a corporate space. Okay, so when you have awareness about self, about yourself, you know how you behave in a certain environment, you will be able to deal with things in a much better way, right? Now, as you move forward to your corporate journey, you will have to make many decisions by yourself now, right? अभी तक तो decisions में कोई stake बहुत ज़्यादा बड़ा नहीं था. अभी तो you will have to make decisions where company's interest is involved. So that comes with lot of responsibility, right? Accountability. You connect with those terms, responsibility and accountability.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Everyone is saying yes to everything. You can also say no if you don't agree. All of you agree till now to everything. Is that so?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's great. Good for me. No questions. Okay. Okay. So when we'll have to have more responsibility, accountability, that means we have to make our own decisions once we are into corporate, right? So the decision making also will need emotional intelligence. If you are not in the right space over here, you will not be able to make decisions that will be helpful for you in future. Okay, so emotional intelligence is like the seat, it's the platform of everything from where you build up. It defines your journey ahead because it defines your choices and decisions that you will make. Okay, so let's move to the next factor, which is communication. So when I show you this picture, what comes to your mind? Any one of you?
Three
Anyone?
ways how we interact or gather information.
Okay. What else?
Hear, see, and then interact.
Yes. Who was that? We see and interact. Who was that?
Me, Vishal.
Vishal. Okay. Thank you, Vishal. Who else? Anybody else? Okay. So if nothing else, yes, who was that? Who was that? Okay. If nobody else, then in communication, we have three components, right? Your vocal, verbal, and visual communication. What does visual communication mean? As Vishal said, we see and decide whether we'll interact or not, right? So visual communication is about your appearance, the way you conduct yourself, the way you use gestures, the body movements that you do, right? Right now, I'm making many gestures, right? I'm using my hands, I'm using my body, right? Once I came into the screen, the first picture that you saw of myself, you made an impression about me, all of you, right? Didn't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you made a first
Yes, ma'am.
impression about myself,
Yes, ma'am.
right? So all the time we are making impressions about people just by visual clues that we are getting from them. It's like communicating without communicating, because most of the time we say communicating is through words. That's not true. We are even communicating when we are not communicating. In fact, if you look at someone, you understand whether that person is intellectual, not intellectual, rich, not rich, is a doctor or a nurse or a policeman, because their clothes are speaking their values, their social status, their profession, right? All of you agree on that? All of you agree on that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So your visual communication is very, very important. Make sure you're always appearing appropriate. Okay. Next, moving on to the verbal communication. Now, what does verbal mean? Verbal is simply the medium that I'm using to transfer my knowledge from this side to that side. Right now, I'm using English as the medium, right? The words that are involved while speaking in English, those are the elements that I'm using. Those are the verbal elements that I'm using to transfer my knowledge across, right? And what is then vocal communication? Vocal communication is the tonality that I'm adding to these words. Am I speaking all the words at the same tone? Am I?
No, ma'am.
No, right? I'm adding a tone. I'm stressing on some words. I'm not stressing on some words, right? So that is the vocal part. So now if I ask you a question, what do you think is the percentage of these things all together contribute to communication? Like what is the ratio? Is it 10, 10, 80? Is it 20, 20, 40? Is it 30, 10, 60? Just type in the chat box. What do you think it is? Just randomly type. What do you think it is? No one is typing? Are you guys sleeping or awake? Have I put all of you to sleep or what? Okay, okay. Okay, so I got some answers. It says 20, 50, 30, Niharika, thank you. 20, 30, 50, Nirmal, 30, 20, 50. Okay, okay, 20, 40, 40. Thank you, Alok. Okay, so let's have a look what this ratio is. Okay. Just give me a second. I don't know why my slide is stuck. Yeah, my slide has changed, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So what are these elements of personal communication? If you look at it, your visual communication, which is actually your non-verbal communication, is the one that contributes the most to your overall formation of first impressions. And we'll see it in a minute. I'll give a live illustration and you'll understand why. And then comes your tonality followed by your words. Was that surprising to anybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for confirming that. So now see, just look at me. I'm telling you, I totally am enjoying this session. It is so interactive. Do you believe what I said?
Yes, ma'am.
You believe, right? Now see how I'm saying it the next time. I totally am loving. I think it is very interactive. Yeah, it is. Are you believing it right now?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Why? What changed?
It is not so
What changed?
convincing anymore.
Pardon?
It is not so convincing anymore.
Right. So I use the same words, right? Did I change my words?
No, ma'am.
I didn't change my words. I changed my tone, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And I changed my body language also. I was using some different slopped in body language, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So now you can understand why we don't believe the words. We believe what we see. And that is the reason once you're walking into your interview, your body language matters so much more than what you are saying. Okay. So from a student's perspective, I will be sharing some research-based data which shows that what are the interviewers looking forward to apart from your technical knowledge. Okay. All of you with me till now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is it adding value? Is it making sense to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So then, these are some of the research findings from authentic sources, including Harvard Business Reviews. And apart from the candidate's timekeeping, which is another important factor, which I'll be discussing shortly, the factors that make the interviewers decide whether they want to recruit somebody or not is their ability to hold eye contact. Okay. Now, considering COVID situations, you may be having your job campusing online or interviews online, and you may escape that ordeal of looking into someone's eyes because it intimidates you. But that also says that you're a confident person. Okay. So here's a pro tip. If any of you have difficulty in looking into someone's eyes, then look somewhere around the eyes, maybe in the eyebrows or at the bridge of the nose or somewhere here. It still looks like you're looking at the eye, and making no eye contact is really, really very bad. Okay. Your personal appearance matters up to 73%. The quality of conversations, small conversations that you can carry out. Then the strength of handshake. Of course, in the COVID scenario, again, that is not happening. But as soon as the COVID scenario is gone, these things will be back again. Again, this is again from other sources that you only have 4 to 7 seconds to make your strong first impressions. And again, 71% of employers want their interviewees to be dressed appropriately. Eye contact, as I said earlier, and that again falls within your body language. And finally, 39% of candidates get rejected because they're not confident and they're not smiling. Now, while I'm conducting this session, am I smiling?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And when I'm saying, am I smiling, is it like all mine are out? No, like that. Nothing like that, right? Nothing like that, right? So the thing is, when you're having a smiley face, it shows that you have a calm demeanor, and when you are yourself calm, you put others to calm, right? All of you are comfortable with me, right? Any of you feeling any uncomfortableness in sharing anything? No, right?
No, ma'am.
Okay, if you had said no, then I would have stopped the presentation right now. Thank you so much, Niharika. Okay, so it matters a lot. So if I were to sum up all of this, your first impression, and if I break it up into A, B, C, D, then it's your appearance, it's your behavior, it's your communication, and in this day, it is your digital presence. And why does your digital presence matter? Can someone help me with that? Yes, Abhinav?
It shows how we are in public or how we are among our friend space.
Yeah, right. So see, right now, if someone is conducting an online interview for you, they're not able to see the person in physical, right? The physical space is no more available to judge you. So they can always visit your social media handles to understand what are your likes and dislikes. Are you a very extremist kind of a person? Are you a very polarized kind of a person, right? They can get all that kind of information by the kind of posts you share on your social media handles. All of you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So
Yes.
ensure that maybe before an interview, you know that you will be called for an interview, you clean up your social media handles. Okay? We do put up things we like while we are growing up, and we don't know how it can impact us, right? But maybe before an interview, it is a wise idea to, clean up your social mess, if any. All of you agree or don't agree?
100% agree.
Okay. Thank you, Niharika. Again, here I want to say that these are all my personal learnings. So you can absorb whatever you feel is relevant, discard. I'm totally okay with whatever you want to discard, whatever you think is not relevant, and add whatever comes from your own life experience. So moving on to the next factor, which is very, very important. I just cannot stress enough on how important is time management. So how many of you struggle with time management? I do. How many of you do?
Me too.
Yes, ma'am.
You do? You do?
Yes, ma'am.
All of us do, right? All of us do struggle with time management, right? Yeah. So, how we use our time communicates a lot about where we are about to reach our lives. And there are many concepts of time management, but I'll quickly touch upon one of them, which is the Stephen Covey's urgent, important time matrix. Any of you heard about it earlier to this session? Have any of you used it?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So according to Stephen Covey, we have urgent and important works. We have not so urgent and important works. We have not important and urgent works. and we have not at all urgent and not important works. And in a minute, I'm going to make you do an activity. It will become more clear why this matrix is so important. So we are utilizing our time in the best possible way only if we are spending most of our time in the second quadrant, which is the not urgent and the important. Got it? So let's understand what this quadrant means. So what I want all of you to do right now is make 3 columns in your copy or paper. Any of you have a paper pen in front of you? All of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I would request all of you to do this activity. It will give you maybe some clarity as to how you can use your time in a better way. Dr. Ajit, am I shooting up above the time? Is there a
It's okay,
time?
it's fine. It's absolutely fine.
Okay, thank you. So all of you are ready with a pen and a paper?
Yes, ma'am.
All of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Let me just stop sharing the presentation now. And let me go to gallery view. Yeah. So whoever is comfortable coming on the camera can come, then I can see what you're doing. So all of you have made 3 columns in your paper? Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now write in 1 column at the top, heading urgent. Written? Write urgent. Written?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. In the next column, write important. Written? Okay. And in the last column, write activities. Done, all of you? Maybe all of you can give me a thumbs up. I don't know about other students, they are at all doing it or not.
Yes, ma'am.
All of you are participating? Okay, that's encouraging to know. I'm seeing more of thumbs up now. What about Devangshu, Mamoon? I don't know who is this one plus. Srijan, Rohit. Yeah, Rohit, are you raising your hand? Do you have a question to ask? Okay. Thank you. So now let me give you some activities, doing your house course, right? In the activity, doing your house course. You know what do I mean by house course? अपने घर के काम करना, doing your house course. Done? Done? Okay. Next is spending time with family. Next activity, write on the last column, which is the activities column, write in a sequence, 1, 2, 3. I'll just give you 5 activities, okay? First one was doing house course. Second one was spending time with family. Third one is planning for interview. Planning for interview. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The fourth one is watching Netflix. How many of you do watch Netflix? I do. How many of you do? Oh my God, you are all such good kids. Seems like nobody watches Netflix here. Okay. I see some hands raised. Okay. Written, Netflix. Okay. And the fifth one is health crisis. So I'll just repeat. It's doing your household course, spending time with family, planning for interview, watching Netflix, health crisis. Got it? Now just decide. You have the urgent, important matrix, right? Which of them is urgent? Which of them is important? Write in the urgent matrix if it's important. If it's urgent, write Y, which means yes. And in the important matrix simultaneously, if it's important, also write yes. It means Y. And next, if you come to the next activity, if you feel it's not important, not urgent, then write no, N, Y, Y. All of you understood what needs to be done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So I'll just give you 1 minute. Quickly do it. Decide and quickly do it. I hope all of you are doing it. Students, even if you don't want to come on the camera, you can be on the audio as well. That will be encouraging for me to know that you are doing it. Please give me a thumbs up or a confirmation once you're done. Okay, 20JE0995. May I know your name, please? I'm sorry, I'm very interactive, so I may not let you go so easily.
Ma'am, Suraj.
Okay, Suraj, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so most of you are done, right? So now the first activity. What was the first activity? Household chores?
Yes.
Yeah. So is it urgent, important? How did you say? Yes, no, what is it you have put?
Important.
No.
It's important?
Important, but not so urgent.
Not
No.
urgent.
Okay. Okay. Okay, see, there's a lots of confusion there. Okay. So let's go back to the screen sharing now. Let me just go back. Is my screen visible again?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the first one was household chores, right? It's urgent. If you don't clean your house, how will you stay in that house? You have to clean it, right?
Right, ma'am.
Maybe hostel में रहते हो इसीलिए नहीं चल जाता है. But in real life, घर में जब रहते हो, मम्मी क्या घर नहीं सफा करके छोड़ देती है क्या? She cleans it up every day, right?
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Yeah. But it's not important. It's not important because it doesn't add any value to you, maybe. So it can be delegated. वो हम किसी और को दे सकते हैं करने के लिए, right?
Yes.
You agree? All of you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's come to the next one. Spending time with family. How have you classified it? Urgent or important? Not urgent, not important. What is it?
Important, but
Important,
not
not urgent.
Exactly. So all of you agree on that. It's important, but not urgent. That goes to the second quadrant, right? The one which has a green spot in it. Right? Agree?
Yes, ma'am.
The next one, which was planning for an interview. What is it? How have you
Urgent
classified
and
it?
Important
urgent and important.
and urgent.
See, I'm speaking about planning for an interview. Planning for an interview. It's important, but it's not urgent because it might happen 6 months down the lane. But it can become urgent if you haven't done the planning right. You get that point? Is there a difference there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Like when we don't study for our exams and इतना सारा पढ़ना पड़ता है exam से पहले engineering में, suddenly everything becomes urgent and important. होता है ना?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
So the same way. So your interview preparation has to go in the second quadrant. As long as it's in the second quadrant, it's in the planning quadrant, you will be doing good. Okay. The fourth one was watching Netflix. Where does it go? Now, all of you have understood this. So tell me, where does it go?
Quadrant, not urgent.
Yeah. So it's
Fourth
not
quadrant.
urgent, not important, right? That's where it goes. All of you agree?
Yes.
Yeah. But does that mean कि हम Netflix देखना छोड़ देंगे? Does that mean so?
No.
No, ma'am.
No, right? So the amount of time you're spending on that is very important. Okay. So make sure we are humans after all. We need some distractions. We need distractions to keep ourselves healthy, our mind also healthy. So Netflix, watch it. But meter your time. Understand how much time are you spending on Netflix. Okay. The next one is health crisis, like the one we are having right now. What quadrant does it go to?
First.
First. It's
First.
urgent and important, right? All of you now understood this quadrant thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
most of the time you have to be in the second quadrant where you do your planning. Say like your parents do financial planning, right? It's important, but it's not urgent, right? So when you do your planning and take action for it, and if you are doing it most of the time in your whole day, then you are in the second quadrant and you're going in the right direction. So meter your time, understand in which quadrant are you most of the time. Did that help?
Yes, ma'am, a lot.
Okay, okay. So then we'll go to the last one. Another factor that matters is our aptitudes. Now, when I say aptitudes, one of the factors that comes in is we need to understand what kind of learner are we. You know, when you're going in a corporate environment, the environment becomes very dynamic. Everything is changing maybe in 3 or 4 months. Things are not slow. They are fast paced and changing. So you need to adapt. You need to keep adapting quickly. So you need to understand what kind of a learner you are. Are you an auditory learner? Are you a visual learner? Are you a kinesthetic learner? We are all three kinds of learner, but one of them is dominating in us. When we understand what kind of learner we are, it's easy for us to work accordingly. Okay, so in a minute, I'll be sharing some resources also, which are free, which you can use to understand what you are. Okay, so all of you with me till here? We are done with the factors now. All of you with me till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Now the point is, अभी तक तो ये सब बातें कभी पता ही नहीं चली, है ना? इतना important है, कभी पता ही नहीं था, right? Agree?
Agree, ma'am.
Right? कभी जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ी जानने की, right? जब तक जरूरत नहीं पड़ती, we don't do it, right? So the point is, now that you don't know all of this, and that's absolutely okay, even I didn't know, but right now the things are getting so competitive, it always helps if you know all of this. And the chances are that as you enter your workforce, maybe you will be trained on all of this. But if if you're aware of all of this, it gives awareness about your own self. It assures you that no, you can navigate through this situation. For a moment, you might feel nahi kar sakti ya nahi hoga, but then you rebound back easily. Okay, so where can you start in the absence of not having done any of this? आप कहाँ से शुरुआत कर सकते हो? So you can start by working on your core strengths and aligning with them, right? So the interview में पूछा जाता है, right? Tell me about yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
First question.
Yeah. So what do you think? Tell me about yourself is about. मेरे को
Actually, that does
बुक पढ़ना पसंद है, मेरे को पेंटिंग पसंद है, मेरे को खाना पसंद है. Is it about that?
no. It's
No?
about what you can do to the say company you are going to work with.
Right.
What
But
you will be after certain amount of time.
yes. Okay, absolutely. But the thing is, how do you say it? How do you say it? How do you convince them? One of the ways is letting them know what your core strengths are. Have you figured it out for yourself? Now let's do an activity for that. How we understand what our core strengths are. Do you want to do the activity? All of you are interested in doing the activity?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So right now, again, I'll stop sharing the screen. And what I want you all to do is, I want you all to take a piece of paper and trace both of your palms on two different papers. Is it clear? Is the instructions clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'll give you a minute.
Yes,
Please do it. Okay. Take a paper and trace both of your palms on that paper. Okay, Devanshu, you're done. Okay, thank you. Shall I give the next set of instructions? What do you have to do? कुछ art नहीं बनाना है. Just do it fast. It doesn't take much time. Done, all of you? Okay, okay. Many thumbs up I'm receiving now. Now, what you have to do is, in one palm, write the strengths that you have in these fingers. Write your strengths. And in the other palm, write your areas of improvement. Write it. Think about it and write it. When you're writing your strengths, think about it. If it's like a word like good communication, think about it. Has people told you you are a good communicator, or you know you are a good communicator? Has any incident happened that made you think that you are a good communicator, or you are very adaptable? Write it. Is it clear to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I hope all of you are writing, because you will have to share it with me now. And in the areas of improvement, you don't have to put all 5. If it's only 2 for you, if it's only 1 for you, if it's 3 for you, you don't have to break your head for that. Whatever number comes to your head, write that down. I'll give 1 more minute. All of you seem to be thinking a lot. Is it so? Are you doing it? Can you quickly confirm?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Give me a thumbs up once you're done. Click a picture of what you have made and share it on the chat, maybe. Dr. Ajit, I hope that is allowed.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you. Are you doing it all? Now it's time up. Please post your pictures.
Ma'am, in the finger, we have to write our strength only.
Okay. Dr. Ajit, I just saw your message right now. You need to finish by 4:30 to 4:40. Is it so?
We
Dr.
are having
Ajit?
one another meeting. Actually,
Okay,
we are
okay,
having
okay.
one another meeting of FICs and SICs.
Okay, okay. I'll wind it up. I'll wind
Not
it.
an issue, please.
There's not much left. I'm sorry for overshooting. I'm really sorry. Okay, so if you are comfortable, please share your images on the chat window. I'll start sharing my screen again. Students, we need to move fast. Any of you are done, not done?
Ma'am, if it is okay, can we say it out loud?
Yes, please do. Quickly.
So my strengths are...
If you can go on camera and show me the pictures, if that's comfortable with you. Otherwise, you can say it out loud.
Camera will be there's a little problem, but I'll say it out.
Okay. You can say it out, yeah.
So my strengths are communication first. Second is I'm open to learning. And third is I work well with a team. My weaknesses are procrastination. And second is very weak concentration.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much, Niharika, for saying that. Now, the first 3 things you said were communication, being a team player, and the third one?
Open to learning.
Open to learning, right? So these are the strengths that you understood while you were in college or your journey as a student from school, right?
Yes, ma'am. School
Right?
and
This
college.
exactly. So these are inputs that have come to you from other people, and also you realized for yourself, right? That these
Yes.
are your strengths and also your weaknesses. You understood from your own experience, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So when you go and tell about yourself from your own experiences, that these are my strengths, that gives the interviewer an idea that okay, this person knows themselves very well and they are working on themselves. Okay, so that is how you figure out to start with what are your strengths and what are your uh, areas of improvement. So quickly, this is one resource that you can go to, which is ashleystyle.com. She's an international career coach. She's spoken at TEDx and she's also featured on Forbes. So she says that you need to know your core skill set and core motivators apart from your core strengths. Now, I can give you an example of myself. My core skill sets are words, analysis, and coordination. Now, analysis is something that came to me from my science profession, and words is something that I was very fond of, and that's the reason I want to get better at speaking and using words to the best possible way to have an impact on people. And the third one is coordination. I really coordinate events really well. So these are my three core skill sets. And my core motivators for doing these: when I joined job, it was money, but now it's no more money. It's meaning, and I want impact, and maybe, I'm sorry, it's time. I also want to use my time as best as possible. So when you know your core strength or your core nature, and you align all the three, your core nature, your core motivator, your core skill set, you get to know more of who you are. And this 3 years, from second year of campus to third year of, from third year of campus to second year of corporate, these 3 years is your time to explore and figure out who you are. By the end of the third year, you might become a corporate butterfly. You know, you're very good with corporate, but you might also want to quit corporate and decide that you want to go into academic, which is absolutely fine. So figure out, it's very important. These 3 years are very crucial. And the faster you figure out, you must have heard the term, right? Fail fast, fail safe, right? You can fail safely the faster you figure out who you are. You can explore the most during this time. So these are also some resources that you can use, which is the Myers-Briggs type indicator. You can go type on Google 16 different personalities. You can also do your brain type assessment on Project Evo. These are resources that are available for free, and they are very good resources to let you know who you are. So do go on Google and check out these resources and figure out for yourself what is it that's coming up for you. And so finally, I come to the final part of it. What do you think is the connection between these three? The strain curve, you, and the balancing doll. Can anyone let me know a connection between all these three? Quickly. This is not a judgmental space, as I said. Whatever comes to your mind. Is anyone there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what do you think? What is nothing is coming to your mind?
A limit point after
okay.
which broken.
Okay, okay, fine. So in your stress strain curve, you have something called resiliency.
Yes.
Right? Resiliency?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So you have to be having that attitude of resilience. Every time that balancing doll, if you punch it, it comes back to its original position, right? And that is what you have to be, you know. It's how quickly, every time that life is throwing you some hurdles, some pitfall that is happening, how quickly do you rebound back? That will decide your journey. And that's the reason it's always your attitude. You have to keep the right attitude. Okay. And I would like to end with this, that attitude, not aptitude, will always decide your altitude. that's all I had for today, and hope it added value to all of you. Dr. Ajit, I'm finished for today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Personally, I learned a lot, and I am extremely sorry because we were having another meeting. I just wanted to give you more 30 minutes for this particular session, but we will see you next time also with a whole day for these sessions. And I'll just request all the students, we will be taking couple of questions from ma'am. If anybody is having any questions, please go ahead and ask. If anybody is having any question, please raise your hands and ask by unmuting yourself.
Nobody is having any question? You either didn't understand anything or you agree to everything. What is the...
Ma'am, you told that there are strengths and weaknesses we need to understand, or we need to get through those. So what was the point when you got to understand these are your strengths and these are not your, or say these are your weaknesses?
Okay. Was that Suraj?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Suraj, for asking that question. Before I answer, I have shared a link for a Google survey. I would request you all to take the survey. It's for my own feedback. It will be really helpful for me if you could fill up that survey. And yes, Suraj, to answer that, the strengths that I have figured out for myself are adaptability, openness, non-judgmental, communicative, and I don't remember, and smart. Yeah, those are my 5 factors. And that took me like 10 long years to figure out. And that is the reason that I have left my hardcore scientific field and moved on to this coaching field. You know, people don't make such kind of U-turns, but I decided to take that U-turn and explore it for myself. I'm doing it a bit late. Maybe when you figure it out for yourself, you might start doing it a bit early. And my weaknesses, again, as one of them is time management, and I'm also a bit impatient at times. So those are also things that are my weaknesses are there with me, and I don't focus on them as much. Yes, I need to, but not as much. But the strengths are the ones that I use as my compass, you know, for guiding me forward. So when you figure out your strengths, you can use them as your, you know, the Google map gives you coordinates where you're going. So when you know your strengths and your weaknesses, those are your coordinates where you can go. Did that help, Suraj?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. And I'll request you all to again, please fill up the survey. It will be really helpful to me. Is there anything else anybody wants to share or say?
If anybody is having any question, please go ahead because we have to end the session now.
Niharika, Devanshu, Rohit, Abhinav, anyone? You can share also anything.
Ma'am, all we have right now to share is that this session was extremely helpful. And since it was interactive, it was enjoyable also.
Right.
There are very few sessions in which we actually do the activities that are going on. I mean, that the speaker is conducting. And thank you so much for this session.
Thank you so much, Niharika.
I think Abhinav is offline due to some network issues. And there are no more questions. So I on behalf of NVCTI, would like to end this session. Thank you so much, ma'am. We have come to the end of Innovative Leader Talk Series 5.0. Campus to Corporate, and you did justice to the topic of today's session. We all thank you so much because we learned a lot. It was an absolute pleasure. It was enjoyable. On behalf of all the faculty members and the students, thank you, ma'am. Thank you all the faculty members and the students who helped us organize this event. And a huge thank you to the audience who was so interactive and made this a two-way session and hence more enjoyable. Thank you so much, everyone. There are 2 form links in the chat. Please fill them before we end the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Niharika, and thank you to all the students. And thank you to IIT Dhanbad and Naresh Vashisht Center of Innovation and Tinkering. I hope I'm saying that right, for giving me this opportunity to interact with the students in your campus. Thank you so much. I look forward to meeting you all again. I don't know if that's true at your end or not.
Oh, definitely. We will be calling you again. Definitely.
Okay.
It was a so interactive session. We'll definitely call you. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Today's session.
Yes. Not only this, I would like to.
Sir,
Yes, Ajit, हाँ. बोलिए अजीत.
Sir, please, sir. I was just waiting for you.
मैं ये कह रहा था कि आपने जिस तरह का सेशन हुआ अभी, मैं वेट करूंगा कि जब हमारा कैंपस ओपन हो, so we can have a live session in our Penman auditorium.
Exactly.
So that is going to be a very, very helpful for the students. Yeah. So we will love to have you in the campus.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you. I would love to come and meet the students personally at the campus. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So
thank you so much. Okay, I'm ending the